Nightshades are not your friend if you have autoimmune arthritis. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why. Plus, I'm going to show you how to avoid them when eating out at restaurants. Because one of the biggest challenges with eating a special diet is eating out. I'm an immunologist and a rheumatologist. I'm triple board certified in internal medicine, rheumatology, and immunology. And I'm the author of 2 books about the autoimmune process. I've been featured on the Dr. Oz Show, Mind Pump, and many other places. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends. Let's dive into nightshades. Nightshades can be inflammatory. I think we all know that. But not everyone reacts to nightshades in the same way. You may not react to one nightshade and might react to another. The 4 main nightshades are potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, and eggplant. There is some controversy about whether tomatillos should be included or not because they are more of a fruit than a vegetable. But for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to stick with the 4 main ones. Nightshades belong to the family Solanaceae, which comes from the Latin word solanum, which means nightshade. The plants in this family contain tropane alkaloids, which are toxic compounds that can be poisonous to humans and animals. That's why they are called nightshades. Now, before you freak out and throw away all your potatoes and tomatoes, don't worry. Not all members of the nightshade family are harmful. Potatoes and tomatoes, peppers and eggplants have had most of their toxic compounds removed through cooking and processing. In fact, only green parts of these plants are toxic, so don't eat those. Don't try to make potato salad using the leaves of the potato plant. It will make you very sick. Solanine is one of the most common toxic compounds found in nightshades, and it has been reported to cause gastrointestinal symptoms, neurological symptoms, cardiovascular collapse, and even death after ingestion. Solanine is rapidly cleared from the body in normal individuals without any ill effects, but it has been associated with adverse reactions in people with autoimmune disorders and inflammatory bowel disease. Studies showed that 78% of patients with sarcoidosis reacted to solanine compared to less than 40% of controls who did not have sarcoidosis. If you want to learn more about sarcoidosis, check out my video on sarcoidosis, and also check out the description below for links to research studies. The next group of chemicals are pyrrolizidine alkaloids. They are found in higher concentrations in the green parts of the plant, but they are still present in small amounts in the edible parts. These alkaloids are converted by bacteria in the gut to toxic metabolites that can damage the liver. Again, this is something that happens in susceptible individuals. People who do not have problems with their gut microbiome and their liver may not have an issue with nightshades. The next chemical you need to watch out for is lectins. Lectins are proteins found in many plant foods. They can bind to sugar molecules on cell surfaces and interfere with cell signaling. Just like solanine and pyrrolizidine alkaloids, lectins are considered problematic only in susceptible individuals. Studies showed that lectins in eggplants and tomatoes activate monocytes and lymphocytes in people with rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, and systemic sclerosis. And interestingly, lectins in tomatoes were found to be more immunogenic than those found in eggplants. Monocytes and lymphocytes are part of our immune system, and inflammation is part of the immune response. So, activation of these cells by lectins may lead to inflammation in susceptible individuals. This is why lectins are considered problematic. Finally, there are glycoalkaloids. Glycoalkaloids are toxic compounds that are composed of both sugar and alkaloid components. They are found in high amounts in raw or undercooked potatoes, especially in the green parts of the potato plant. Glycoalkaloids can cross the blood-brain barrier and affect the nervous system. Symptoms of glycoalkaloid poisoning include nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, delirium, hallucinations, convulsions, and paralysis. Convulsions and paralysis can lead to death. Keep in mind that cooking and processing removes most of these toxic compounds. However, It is important to note that improper cooking and processing can leave some of these toxic compounds intact, making the food unsafe to consume. For example, improperly processed or immature green potatoes have caused fatal incidents of food poisoning. Also, boiling potatoes in their jackets may result in higher levels of glycoalkaloids compared to peeling the potato before boiling. So, given all this information, should you avoid nightshades? If you have autoimmune arthritis, I say it depends. And it depends on two things. One is if you react to nightshades, and two, what type of arthritis you have. We know from the research studies that people with autoimmune disorders tend to react differently to nightshades compared to people without autoimmune disorders. The research studies did not differentiate between various autoimmune disorders. So we don't know if people with different autoimmune disorders react to nightshades in the same way. So, how do you know if you react to nightshades? Well, keep a food diary. You don't have to completely remove nightshades from your diet to figure out if you react to them. Just pay attention to how you feel after consuming nightshades. Pay attention to symptoms that flare up after eating nightshades. Do you get more joint pain? More fatigue? More brain fog? More rashes? Is it harder to get out of bed in the morning? Do you feel more irritable? Remember that it may take 2 to 3 days for your symptoms to flare up. So if you have eaten nightshades, write down the day you ate nightshades and then monitor your symptoms for 2 to 3 days afterwards. But remember, you may not react to one nightshade and may react to another. You may not react to potatoes but may react to tomatoes, for example. Also, you may not react to nightshades when you eat them at home because you are preparing them yourself, but you may react to nightshades when you are eating out, because the chef may be using the same oil to cook your food, and someone else's food who is not on a special diet. So if you are eating out, always ask the waiter to speak to the chef. Explain to them that you have autoimmune arthritis and are avoiding nightshades. Ask them if the chef can prepare your meal separately in a clean pan using no oil. Always ask for steamed vegetables instead of sautéed vegetables because they may be cooked in oil. If you are eating a burger, ask for a bun without ketchup. If you are eating pasta, ask for a tomato-based sauce. Ask for oil and vinegar instead of ranch or other dressings that may contain nightshades. You would be surprised how accommodating restaurants are. Most restaurants are happy to make accommodations for people with food allergies because of the law. Even if the restaurant does not have your meal option on the menu, most chefs are willing to work with you to come up with a meal that fits your needs. Now, the second question is, does it matter what type of arthritis you have? Some people with osteoarthritis do not have an inflammatory component to their arthritis. So theoretically, nightshades may not be a problem for these individuals. But we know that many people with osteoarthritis have an inflammatory component to their arthritis, which makes them more susceptible to reacting to nightshades. In contrast, most people with rheumatoid arthritis have an inflammatory component to their arthritis. This is why nightshades may be more of a problem for people with rheumatoid arthritis compared to people with osteoarthritis. Lupus is a unique autoimmune disease where inflammation involves not just joints, but also other organs, skin, hair, kidneys, and heart, to name a few. Studies showed that patients with lupus react more to nightshades compared to healthy controls. So if you have lupus, keep track of how you feel after eating nightshades. Now, many people with autoimmune arthritis ask me if they can eat processed foods made from nightshades, such as tomato sauce, salsa, ketchup, paprika, chili powder, etc. As long as the ingredients list does not include the actual vegetable, such as tomatoes, then it is safe to consume. However, I advise avoiding anything with modified food starch. Check out my video on modified food starch. Some of you may wonder about the health benefits of nightshades. So let's talk about that. Tomatoes are rich in lycopene, which is beneficial for preventing prostate cancer. Lycopene is a carotenoid, which is a pigment that gives fruits and vegetables a red color. Carotenoids are antioxidants that our bodies can use to produce vitamin A. We need vitamin A for vision, growth and development, reproduction, and immune function. Cooking actually increases the bioavailability of lycopene in tomatoes. This is why it is recommended to consume cooked or processed tomatoes. Potatoes have a lot of potassium, vitamin C, and fiber. Potatoes also have lots of antioxidants, including phenolic compounds and flavonoids. Interestingly, studies showed that phenolic compounds in potatoes were more antioxidant than those in onions, carrots, apples, and tomatoes. The bottom line is that I advise trying to avoid nightshades if you have autoimmune arthritis. And again, it depends on if you react to nightshades. If you do react to nightshades, try to avoid them and see if your symptoms improve. You have nothing to lose by trying. Worst case scenario, you go back to eating nightshades and your symptoms do not improve. Best case scenario, you avoid nightshades and your symptoms improve. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share with your friends, and check out my blog and social media. Until next time.